My fiancée laughed at the prenup and said, "You either marry me as is or not at all." I'm Brandon, 29, and I wish I'd seen this coming. I inherited my grandmother's bakery when she passed last year. Small place, but it's been in our family for 60 years and pulls in around $180K annually. Nothing huge, but it's mine. The building sits on Maple Street, right in the middle of downtown, with those old brick walls and the hand-painted sign my grandfather made in 1965. Every morning at 5 a.m., I'm there mixing dough, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. When I got engaged to Olivia after dating for 18 months, my lawyer suggested a simple prenup protecting the bakery. We'd met at a wine tasting event, and she seemed perfect, you know? Always smiling, always supportive when I talked about expanding the business. She'd come by on weekends and help me frost cupcakes, post pictures on her Instagram calling me her sweet baker boyfriend. It's just smart business, I told her over dinner at Romano's, her favorite Italian place. The one with the red leather booths, and the waiter who always remembered she liked extra parmesan. I remember the scent of garlic bread in the air, and how she was wearing this blue dress she'd bought specifically for date nights. Olivia sat down her fork and actually laughed. Like not a nervous laugh, but this full-on mocking sound that made the couple at the next table look over. "Seriously, you think I'm after your little cupcake shop?" Her tone was dismissive, like I'd just asked her to sign away her rights to some lemonade stand. Then came the ultimatum. You either marry me as is or not at all. I'm not signing papers that say I get nothing. I studied her face for a long moment. 2 years together, and this was how she reacted to reasonable protection. The same woman who'd told me just last month that she loved how responsible I was with money. The same woman who'd helped me organize my grandmother's recipe cards after the funeral. "Okay," I said quietly. She beamed, thinking she'd won. "Good. I knew you'd drop this legal nonsense once you thought about it." "No, Olivia. Okay? As in, not at all." The smile vanished instantly. Her hand froze halfway to her water glass. "What do you mean?" "I mean the engagement is off. You just told me exactly how you view this relationship." She started backtracking immediately. "Brandon, don't be ridiculous. I was just surprised. We can discuss it, but I was done. You laughed at protecting something my grandmother built. That tells me everything." The drive home was silent. I remember she kept trying to grab my hand at red lights, and I just kept both hands on the wheel. When I dropped her off at her apartment, she slammed the car door so hard I thought the window might crack. The next morning, I started calling vendors. Wedding was in 2 months. Lost about $8,000 in deposits, but worth every penny. The venue, the photographer, the DJ who'd already created a playlist based on our love story. All of it, gone. My buddy Jake called me crazy when I told him, "Dude, you're really throwing away 2 years over some paper?" But it wasn't about the paper, you know. Olivia screamed, cried, moved back with her parents in their house across town. She kept calling me dramatic and heartless. Left voicemails at 2 a.m. saying I was going to regret this, that I was throwing away the best thing that ever happened to me. Her friends started messaging me on social media, calling me paranoid and controlling. I felt terrible for about a week, until my assistant Samantha mentioned something that made my blood run cold. It was a Tuesday morning. I was pulling cinnamon rolls out of the oven when Samantha walked in early, which was unusual. She normally didn't arrive until 7. "Hey, can I talk to you about something weird?" she asked, setting down her purse. "Sure, what's up?" "Olivia came by twice last month when you were at the farmer's market." Samantha leaned against the counter, looking uncomfortable. She asked about our supplier contracts, profit margins, even wanted to see our recipe books. Said she was planning some kind of business surprise for you. My stomach dropped. The metal tray in my hand suddenly felt like it weighed 100 pounds. I checked our office computer immediately, my hands actually shaking as I typed in my password. Olivia had been logged in multiple times over the past month. Our system kept logs of everything. She downloaded our supplier contact lists, financial records, customer databases, and worst of all, she'd photographed pages from my grandmother's handwritten recipe book. 60 years of family recipes. My grandmother's secret red velvet formula that made us famous, the one she'd perfected over 3 decades of trial and error. Her apple cinnamon rolls that people drove hours for, the ones she'd taught me to make when I was 12 years old, standing on a stool to reach the counter. All photographed and stolen. I called my lawyer immediately. "Patrick, I need you to document everything. Olivia stole proprietary business information." Patrick whistled low on the other end. "Brandon, this is serious. We're talking trade secrets. Do you have proof?" "I have timestamps, downloaded files, everything." 2 months later, a new bakery opened directly across town, Olivia's Sweet Dreams Bakery, and the grand opening flyer made me sick. Featured were my grandmother's exact red velvet cupcakes, her signature apple cinnamon rolls, even her custom wedding cake designs. The same 3-tier vanilla buttercream with raspberry filling that we'd made for the mayor's daughter last year. Olivia hadn't just stolen recipes, she'd copied our entire business model. Same suppliers. I recognized the logos on the delivery trucks. Same pricing, down to the penny. She was targeting our biggest corporate clients with presentations that included her family recipes. The worst part? She sent me an invitation to her grand opening with a handwritten note. Thanks for the inspiration, Brandon. Some things are too good not to share. I sued immediately for theft of trade secrets and unfair competition. My lawyer was furious when he saw the evidence. Brandon, she didn't want to marry you. She wanted to study your business and steal it. The engagement was just access. During discovery, we found Olivia had been planning this for months. Text messages with her sister discussing getting everything I need before the wedding. Consultations with commercial real estate agents while we were still engaged, dated, and time-stamped. Even a business loan application dated 2 weeks before our prenup conversation. She'd never intended to sign that prenup because she was already planning to steal what she wanted and start competing. The case was slam dunk, according to Patrick. We had her dead to rights. The hearing was scheduled for October 15th. I was sitting in the courtroom when it happened. My phone wouldn't stop vibrating during the hearing, but I ignored it. Judge Morrison was reviewing our evidence, and Olivia looked pale as a ghost sitting across from me with her lawyer. When we finally took a break, I had 47 missed calls from neighbors. My heart started racing. I stepped outside into the courthouse hallway and saw the smoke rising from downtown, right where my bakery stood. The fire department was already there, but I could see orange flames through the windows even from 5 blocks away. I started running, loosening my tie, my dress shoes slapping against the pavement. A text from an unknown number appeared on my phone. Hope your insurance is paid up. I rushed to the burning bakery, my lungs burning from sprinting the whole way. The fire department had 2 trucks there, hoses already spraying water onto the building. The main kitchen, where my grandmother had worked for 40 years, was completely engulfed in flames. I could see through the front window, the industrial ovens we'd just replaced last year, the mixer that had been in our family since 1982, all of it burning. Captain Rodriguez from the fire department stopped me at the barricade. "Sir, you need to stay back. That's my bakery. My grandmother's recipe book is in there." He put a hand on my shoulder. "I'm sorry." The fire started in the back kitchen. By the time we got here, it had already spread to the main floor. I watched, helpless, as they worked to contain the blaze. After 2 hours, they got it under control, but the damage was catastrophic. The main kitchen was destroyed, and my grandmother's original recipe book, the one written in her shaky handwriting with notes in the margins like, "Add extra vanilla on cold days, and don't overmix or they'll be tough," was ash. My phone buzzed again. Another text from the unknown number, this time with a photo of Olivia's bakery, bustling with customers. The caption read, "Sometimes you have to clear out the competition." I felt this cold rage settle in my chest. I went straight to my car and pulled up the bakery's security camera app on my phone. We had cameras covering the back entrance and the alley. I scrolled back to 2 hours before the fire started. There. A dark blue Honda pulled into the alley at 11:47 a.m. A guy got out, looked around, then pulled something from his trunk. He walked to the back entrance with what looked like a gas can, poured liquid all around the door and the dumpster area. Then he got back in his car and drove off. I zoomed in on the license plate, but it was too blurry. I zoomed in on the guy's face instead as he looked up at one point. Jake. I recognized him immediately from Olivia's grand opening photos. He'd been standing right next to her in the pictures she'd posted on social media, wearing a Sweet Dreams Bakery shirt, his arm around her waist. Her business partner, allegedly, but I knew who Jake really was. I'd seen his pictures before, back when Olivia and I first started dating. She'd told me about her crazy ex-boyfriend who she'd dated for 3 years before me, the one who was obsessed with her, who she'd had to block on everything. Jake Henderson. I downloaded the footage to my phone, my hands shaking so bad I almost dropped it twice. This was evidence of arson. This was criminal. But something made me pause. In the footage, right before Jake got back in his car, he pulled out his phone and made a call. The timestamp showed 11:52 a.m. Who was he calling right before committing arson? I had a pretty good idea. The next morning, I didn't go to the police. Not yet. Instead, I showed up unannounced at Olivia's bakery during rush hour. It was 11 a.m. on a Saturday, their busiest time. The place was packed with customers, most of them probably former clients of mine. I walked in with my tablet showing the security footage queued up. I didn't say anything to anyone, just walked straight to the counter where Olivia was ringing up a customer. "Hi, Olivia," I said loudly enough that nearby customers turned to look. "Nice place you've got here. I know what you did." Her face went white, like actually lost all color. "Brandon, what are you doing here?" I held up the tablet and hit play. The footage showed Jake clear as day, pouring gasoline around my back entrance. "We need to talk. Now." Olivia stammered something to her employee, then practically dragged me to the back office. The moment the door closed, she started talking fast. "Brandon, I swear to God, I didn't know Jake was going to do that. He acted on his own to help my business, but I had nothing to do with it. You have to believe me." "Help your business?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "He committed arson, Olivia. He destroyed my grandmother's bakery." I know, and I'm so sorry." She was actually crying now. tears running down her face. When I heard about the fire, I confronted Jake, and he admitted it. I told him he was insane. I told him to turn himself in. But you didn't call the police yourself? She looked at the floor. I was scared. My business just started, and if people found out my business partner committed arson— You mean your ex-boyfriend? Yeah, I know who Jake is. Olivia's eyes went even wider. That was over before we even met Brandon. I swear. He reached out a few months ago saying he wanted to invest in my bakery, that he believed in me. When exactly did he reach out? She hesitated. April, maybe? We got engaged in March. The realization hit her face. She sat down heavily in her desk chair. Oh my God, he was helping you steal my business, Olivia. And when the legal case wasn't going your way, he decided to just burn it down. I leaned against her desk, and I have to admit, I was kind of enjoying watching her squirm. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign over 60% ownership of this bakery to me, and you're going to fire Jake immediately. You have 24 hours to decide. What? Brandon, you can't. Or I send this footage to the police, the news, every food blogger in the state, and I mention in my statement that you and Jake were seen together multiple times before the fire, that you had motive to eliminate competition, that you sent me a threatening note right before it happened. That wasn't a threat. That was just— Think about how it'll look, Olivia. Your bakery closes, you face criminal investigation, and you probably go to jail as an accessory. Or you give me majority ownership, fire Jake, and we both walk away from this. She was shaking, actually trembling in her chair. I need to think about it. 24 hours. I stood up to leave, and that's when I noticed her phone on the desk. The screen was lit up. She'd been texting someone. The preview showed, he knows about— She grabbed the phone quickly, but I'd already seen it. Who are you texting, Olivia? Nobody. My sister. Right. I left the office and walked out through the busy bakery. Customers were still lined up, eating cupcakes that tasted exactly like my grandmother's recipe. It made me sick. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Olivia's face when I showed her the footage, how genuinely shocked she seemed, but also how quickly she started texting someone. I lived in a small apartment about 3 miles from the bakery, 1 bedroom with minimal furniture. I'd moved in after selling the house I'd shared with Olivia, wanting a fresh start. Around 2 a.m., I heard something, a scratching sound near my front door. I got up, heart pounding, and looked through the peephole. Nothing. I opened the door slowly, and that's when I noticed my doorknob looked scratched up, like someone had been trying to pick the lock. I immediately closed and locked the door, then called 911. By the time the police arrived, 20 minutes later, I'd checked my apartment. My laptop was gone from my desk. The tablet I'd shown Olivia was also missing from my bag. The backup security footage. The evidence. Did you have anything else valuable? The officer asked, looking around my apartment. Just electronics. My laptop and tablet. He wrote it down, but I could tell from his expression he thought this was a routine burglary. He didn't know about the footage, about the arson, about any of it. After the police left, I sat on my couch and started laughing. Not because anything was funny, but because I couldn't believe Olivia had actually sent Jake to steal the evidence. But here's the thing. Olivia wasn't as smart as she thought she was. I'd already sent the footage to my email. The cloud backup had the file sitting right there in my inbox, sent at 8:47 p.m. the previous night with the subject line, Arson Evidence, Backup. At 3 a.m., I opened my email on my phone, downloaded the footage again, and printed stills at a 24-hour FedEx. 20 copies of Jake's face, clear as day, pouring gasoline around my bakery's back entrance. 20 copies of his license plate, which I'd enhanced as much as I could. 20 copies of the timestamp showing exactly when he committed arson. Then I drove to Olivia's bakery. I got there around 4 a.m. The place was dark, obviously. Not a single car in the parking lot. I pulled out the posters I'd made and started taping them to every single window. The caption on each one read, "Arsonist works here. Ask about Jake," with his picture blown up nice and big. I stepped back to admire my work. Every window, from the front entrance to the side doors, covered in Jake's face and the word arsonist. By 6 a.m., I was home. By 7 a.m., my phone started blowing up. Samantha texted me, "Boss, are you seeing this? Someone plastered Olivia's bakery with arson accusations." The local Facebook group was going insane. People were posting pictures of the posters, sharing them, demanding to know what happened. Is this the same bakery that opened after Brandon's place burned down? Oh my God, did they burn his bakery? I was going to order a birthday cake from there. By morning, when Olivia's Sweet Dreams bakery was supposed to open at 8 a.m., there were customers lined up outside, but not to buy anything. They were taking photos of the posters, reading them, calling the news stations. I watched it all unfold on social media from my couch, drinking coffee and feeling, honestly, pretty damn good about myself. Olivia called me at 8:47 a.m. She was hysterical. "Brandon, what the fuck did you do?" "Good morning to you too. You plastered my business with accusations. I have customers demanding refunds. The news is here. People think I'm a criminal. Well, you did help cover up an arson. I didn't cover up anything. Jake disappeared. He's not answering his phone. He's not at his apartment. He's just gone." That was interesting. Jake had run. Smart move, honestly. That's not my problem, Olivia. Brandon, please. My business is collapsing. I'm ruined. I'll remove the posters if you publicly admit you stole my recipes and close your bakery permanently. You have 2 hours to post a video confession online. Are you insane? I can't do that. Then I guess your business stays plastered with the truth. I hung up. 2 hours came and went. No video confession. Instead, Olivia did something I didn't expect. At 11:32 a.m., a new video appeared on her Instagram. Olivia, looking tearful and devastated, sitting in her empty bakery. I want to address the horrible rumors being spread about my business, she said, voice shaking. My ex-fiancé Brandon has been harassing me ever since I rejected his controlling behavior. He insisted I sign a prenup that would have left me with nothing, and when I stood up for myself, he called off our wedding. My jaw dropped. Now he's spreading lies about my business partner, making false accusations of arson because he can't handle the fact that my bakery is succeeding. He's plastered my windows with defamatory posters. He's encouraging people to boycott me, all because I wouldn't let him control me. She wiped away tears. Real ones, it looked like. I'm a small business owner trying to make it in a tough industry. All I've ever done is work hard and follow my dreams. If you've ever been harassed by an ex, if you've ever had someone try to tear you down because you stood up for yourself, please share this. Please help me stand up to this bully. The video went viral locally within hours. Absolutely exploded. Shares, comments, news pickups. And suddenly, I was the bad guy. My phone started getting messages. Angry messages. People calling me controlling, abusive, a bitter ex who couldn't handle rejection. Someone spray-painted abuser on my apartment building. The local news did a segment about business harassment and used Olivia's video as the example. I started getting hate mail at the bakery's P.O. box. Well, the bakery that no longer existed, but the mail still came. You should be ashamed. Leave that poor woman alone. Typical male behavior. My insurance company called. The rebuilding process was on hold because of the ongoing investigation into the circumstances of the fire. Translation: they thought maybe I burned down my own bakery for the insurance money. I sat in my apartment for 3 days, watching my entire life fall apart online. Business contacts who'd worked with my grandmother for decades stopped returning my calls. The farmers market banned me for creating a hostile business environment. Samantha quit. I'm sorry, Brandon, but I can't be associated with this. My girlfriend is getting harassed online for working with you. On day 4, I got a call from my insurance investigator, a guy named Ron Delgado who'd been handling the case. Mr. Turner, I need you to come down to my office. We've finished our preliminary investigation. My stomach dropped. This was it. They were going to deny my claim. I drove to his office in complete silence, preparing myself for the worst. Ron's office was in one of those industrial buildings near the highway. Gray carpet, fluorescent lights, the smell of coffee that had been sitting too long. Have a seat, Ron said, gesturing to a chair across from his desk. I sat down, hands clenched in my lap. Mr. Turner, I'll cut to the chase. The fire was definitely arson. Accelerant used, multiple points of origin. Professional job, or at least someone who knew what they were doing. I know. I have security footage. We saw the footage. We also ran the plates on that Honda, registered to a Jake Henderson. My heart started beating faster. We've been trying to locate Mr. Henderson for questioning, but he seems to have disappeared. However, we did find some interesting financial records. Ron pulled out a file and opened it. Olivia Bennett took out a business loan for $250,000 3 months ago. The loan application included projected earnings based on, and I quote, exclusive supplier contracts and proprietary recipes that will capture the artisanal bakery market. He looked up at me. Your supplier contracts, your recipes. She stole everything. We know. We also found text messages between Miss Bennett and Mr. Henderson. She paid him $5,000 2 days before your fire. The memo on the check said, consulting fees. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. We're building a case against both of them. Arson, fraud, theft of trade secrets. The DA is getting involved. Ron closed the file. Your insurance claim is approved. We'll start the payout process next week. I left his office in a daze. The DA was involved. Olivia was going down, but I couldn't just sit around and wait for justice. The damage to my reputation was already done. I needed to act. I contacted every single supplier that Olivia was using. Turner's Flour Mill, where my grandmother had gotten flour since 1965. Rosewood Farms for eggs and butter. Heritage Vanilla Company for extracts. Hey, this is Brandon Turner. I wanted to discuss our contract terms. Each conversation went basically the same way. I offered them better rates, longer contracts, guaranteed minimum orders. Everything Olivia had offered, I beat by 15%. But I'll need exclusivity. You work with me. You don't work with Sweet Dreams Bakery. Within 3 days, I had signatures. Turner's Flour Mill, Rosewood Farms, Heritage Vanilla, Mountain Peak Dairy, all of them. Exclusive contracts, effective immediately. On day 4, I got a panicked call from Olivia. What did you do? My suppliers are all canceling on me. Business is business. Olivia, you stole my recipes, tried to steal my clients, tried to destroy my reputation. Did you really think I'd just let that go? I have orders. I have a wedding cake due Saturday. Sounds like a you problem. Brandon, please. I'll lose everything. You should have thought about that before you paid Jake $5,000 to burn down my life's work. Silence on the other end. Then, quietly, how did you know about that? The insurance investigator found your bank records. The DA has them now, too. I heard her breath catch. What? They're building a criminal case, Olivia, against you and Jake. Arson, fraud, conspiracy. You're looking at serious prison time. She started crying. Real, ugly crying. Brandon, I'm so sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen. Jake said he would just scare you a little, make you drop the lawsuit. You knew. You knew he was going to burn down my bakery, and you paid him to do it. No, I paid him to help with the business. The arson was his idea, I swear. Then, why did you send him to steal my laptop? Why did you lie in that video? Why didn't you go to the police when you found out? No answer. Because you're not a victim, Olivia. You're a criminal, and you're going to pay for what you did. I hung up. Within a week, Olivia's bakery was in freefall. Without suppliers, she couldn't fulfill orders. Customers who'd already paid deposits started demanding refunds. Her employees quit when their paychecks bounced. The news cycle turned when the DA's office released a statement about the ongoing criminal investigation into the arson. Suddenly, Olivia's tearful video looked a lot different. Comments that had supported her started getting deleted. New comments appeared. She lied about everything. I knew something was off. Thank God I didn't order from her. Then Jake resurfaced. He contacted me directly through Facebook Messenger of all places. The message came through at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday. Brandon, it's Jake. I need to talk to you. Can we meet? I stared at the message for a long time. This was the guy who'd burned down my bakery, who'd broken into my apartment, who'd been sleeping with my fiancée while we were still engaged, based on some texts the insurance investigator had found. Why would I meet with you? Because I have evidence that Olivia planned everything. Text messages where she told me to make sure the competition burns. Voice recordings of her coaching me on what to do. Everything. My heart started racing. I'll testify against her if you keep my name out of the media. I'll give you everything I have. This was it. Jake was turning on Olivia to save himself. Send me the messages first. 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed with incoming files. Screenshots of text conversations. Olivia, Brandon's not going to drop this lawsuit. We need to do something drastic. Jake, like what? Olivia, I don't know. Make him stop. Make it so he can't continue. Jake, you want me to hurt him? Olivia, no. God, no. But his bakery. If something happened to his bakery, he wouldn't have a business to protect anymore, right? Jake, you want me to burn it down? Olivia, I didn't say that. Jake, but that's what you mean. Olivia, just make sure the competition burns, however you think is best. There were more, dozens more. Olivia planning every detail, then pretending to be surprised when Jake actually did it. I forwarded everything to the DA's office and to Ron at the insurance company. Then I set up a meeting with Olivia. One last meeting. We met at a coffee shop, neutral ground. The one on 5th Street with the outdoor patio. It was October, getting cold, but Olivia was already sitting outside when I arrived. She looked terrible, hair unwashed, dark circles under her eyes, wearing sweatpants and an old college hoodie. Thanks for meeting me, she said quietly as I sat down. I didn't say anything, just pulled out my phone and showed her Jake's messages. Her face crumbled as she read them. She understood immediately what they meant. Jake sent you these? He's trying to save himself, offering to testify against you in exchange for a lighter sentence. That backstabbing, she stopped herself, laughing bitterly. I guess I deserve that. Yeah, you do. Olivia looked at me, eyes red. What do you want, Brandon? I want you to sign a confession, admitting to stealing my recipes, admitting to planning the arson, admitting to everything. I want it notarized and filed with the court. If I do that, I'll go to prison. You're going to prison anyway, Olivia. Jake's testimony will make sure of that. But if you confess now, maybe the DA will go easier on you. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find some shred of dignity in telling the truth for once. She stared at the table for a long time. I could see her hands shaking. Finally, she nodded. Okay. We went to a notary public right then and there. I'd already drawn up the confession with my lawyer's help. It laid out everything. The theft of recipes, the planning with Jake, the payment for the arson, the cover-up. Olivia signed it with a pen that kept skipping because her hands were shaking so badly. The notary stamped it, witnessed it, made it official. What happens now? Olivia asked as we left. Now, I email this to every food blogger, every community group, every business network in the area. I post it online. I make sure everyone knows exactly who you are and what you did. Brandon, you destroyed my grandmother's legacy. You tried to destroy my life. You don't get to ask for mercy now. I walked away and left her standing on the sidewalk. Within hours of posting Olivia's confession online, it spread like wildfire. The local news picked it up. Food bloggers who'd initially defended her published retractions and apologies to me. The Facebook groups that had called me an abuser suddenly turned on Olivia instead. Her landlord evicted Sweet Dreams Bakery within 3 days, citing the scandal and breach of the lease agreement's good standing clause. Her remaining business partners, 2 investors she'd brought in during her initial expansion, filed a lawsuit against her for fraud and misrepresentation. The DA's office moved forward with criminal charges: arson, conspiracy to commit arson, theft of trade secrets, fraud. Olivia was looking at 8 to 15 years in prison. Jake got a plea deal for his testimony: 3 years, eligible for parole in 18 months. As for me, I used the insurance payout to rebuild. But this time, I didn't just rebuild the same small bakery. I took out a loan, bought the lot next door, and expanded. Double the space, new equipment, a full coffee bar, seating for 40 people. The publicity from the case was insane. Local baker fights back against the fiancée made regional news. Brandon Turner, the baker who refused to back down, got picked up by a food industry magazine. People started driving from 3 counties over just to support me, to buy cupcakes and cinnamon rolls and say they believed in me the whole time, which was bullshit, because half of them had called me an abuser just weeks earlier, but whatever. Business was business. Olivia's bakery closed permanently with massive debt and her facing criminal prosecution. She filed for bankruptcy, lost her apartment, moved back in with her parents, who reportedly wouldn't speak to her. Her social media profiles disappeared. Her friends abandoned her. The life she'd tried to build on top of my grandmother's stolen recipes collapsed completely. Grand reopening day was December 1st, exactly 4 months after the fire. I'd kept my grandmother's name, Betty's Bakery, Est, 1965, but underneath, in smaller letters, rebuilt with love and justice. The line wrapped around the block. Former customers, new customers, people who just wanted to be part of the story. We sold out of everything by noon. Samantha came back. She apologized, said she'd been scared and made a mistake. I rehired her on the spot.